Hello, my name is Ward Coleman, and I'm looking forward to being with you and Josh McDowell as he shares the 6th step in the 7 steps of parenting. If we express interest in what interests our children, this helps them feel loved. Do you know what is interesting to your child right now? Spend time doing what your child wants to do. In this session, Josh McDowell has more to say about how important it is for parents to approach their children's world and how it builds a loving, intimate relationship between you and your child. Please take notes as Josh explains to us approaching your child's world.
And then 6, approach their world. When you approach your child's world, you say to them what is important to them is important to you. What they care about, you care about. And oh, let me tell you, that's the beginning of family and relationships. In 1 Corinthians 13, verse 5, it says, love does not demand its own way. In other words, we step into their way, not making them always step into our way. When Father heard me speak on this, and 2 weeks later he called me, he said, doesn't work. I said, what? You're approaching my child's world. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I went out and I played golf with him for a whole day and it was horrible. All we did was argue. I said, does your son like golf? He said, no. I said, what does he like? He said, basketball. I said, why didn't you play basketball with your son? Well, I don't like it. Just what? He was making his son approach his world. Well, let me tell you, the heavens was emptied and God through Jesus approached my world. And I need to apply that same principle with my children. Let me show you how with my son. Growing up, he'd get interested in cars and everything else. Well, he got interested in comic books, which can be concerned with some of the comic books out there. So we worked around, tried to help lovingly manipulate which ones he liked. Well, he fell in love with Spider-Man and the Hulk. And so what I would do is every time I would come home, I'd go into his room. He was like 10, 11, 12 years old. And I'd go into his room and say, hey, did you get any new comic books? Can I read it? He would always sit on the floor and read it with me. Unbelievable. He would sit right there and read it with me. And then when I'd go on the road, after a while, when he'd started collecting them, I'd make a list and all of his new ones. So every trip I'd go out, I'd go to a comic store. And I'd say, my son collects Spider-Man. Do you have anything that's not on this list? Yeah, I've got this one. I'll take it. And I would take it home to him. Why? I was stepping into his world. This is what was hot to my son. It became a thing of conversation. We could discuss time together that was meaningful to him. Maybe it wasn't all meaningful to me, but to him. Find out what is significant to your kids at that age group. And it changes. And then step into that world. Approach their world. Approach their basketball world, their drill team world, their cheerleading world. Approach it. Go to the practice, go to the games, go to the rehearsals. And it'll come back to bless you.
We build family relationships by stepping into the lives of our children. By approaching their world, we say to them, I care about you and what you are interested in. As a parent, do you provide rules for your children and hold them accountable? Doing so gives them a feeling of responsibility and self-control. The 7th and final point in our study together will be accountability. Let us join together next time to see why we as parents need to teach our children to be accountable.